So we're here at our customer's home in Burlington getting ready to remove the popcorn ceiling. That is a very messy job. And so we're gonna have to do quite a bit of prep work before we can even get started, because when we start taking off that popcorn ceiling, it makes a big mess. We're gonna show you two ways to do that. We're gonna show you how to use a Festool vacuum sander to make it less messy. And we're also gonna show you a way, if you don't have a tool to do it, just to spray some water on it and get rid of it. But first step is prepping the room so that none of that dust gets all over the house. Come watch us, we'll show you how to do it. So step one to getting ready to take the popcorn ceiling is to tape all of the walls. We want to make sure that when we're working on the ceilings that we don't wreck the walls. So we're going to put down a layer of tape to make a fine line between the ceiling and the wall. And then we're going to lay down plastic so that we don't mess up the walls. Sometimes if you don't prepare properly, you'll end up having to paint all the walls. So we want to make sure we get the step done right. So something we did in preparation for this was to remove all the light fixtures so that we could work around the lights and make sure we got right up to the holes. But we have some live wires there. So one thing we wanted to make sure we did was tape off the light switches so we don't make any mistakes with turning on and off the lights when we've got the fixtures removed. One thing you may not even realize is how dirty your ceilings get. Not a lot of people walk around their houses looking up at their ceilings and seeing how white they are. And until we took off these light fixtures, we didn't realize how much dirt had kind of accumulated around the light fixtures and on this. So once we clean this place up and paint it white, it's gonna look really crisp and nice, and something you may not have even noticed. Another benefit of removing the popcorn ceiling is we're gonna have nice flat ceilings, and that's gonna make it a lot easier to clean the ceilings. So we've almost got the whole room prepped. We've covered all the walls with plastic, but we've also cut some slits into these doors because inevitably we can't do the whole job without getting outside once in a while. So we've cut some slits in here, but we still kept the door covered so we can open it and get out, but still have the whole place covered. Okay, so we've got all the preparation work done to get ready to remove the popcorn ceiling. So we've put tape around the entire perimeter between the ceiling and the wall so that we don't damage any of the walls when we're removing the popcorn. We've also sealed up all the doorways and areas upstairs so that the dust doesn't fly all over the house. On this doorway, we've put two levels of plastic, one on the outside and one on the inside. We've also cut slits into all the walls so that we can still enter and leave all of the areas in the house. So now that we're done all of that, we're ready to start moving the popcorn. So we've got some drywall compound ready here. This is a pre-mixed batch. We want to have quite a bit in the bucket because we're gonna have to skim the entire ceiling. So this is a really great product for using pre-mixed. All we had to do was add a little bit of water. We took a drill and we mixed it up a bit. That gets rid of some of the air bubbles and makes it nice and creamy and smooth so we can make a nice smooth finish. One opportunity when you're doing popcorn ceiling is to also add some pot lights to your ceiling. It's a great time to do both jobs at once because when you put in pot lights, the electrician's gonna inevitably have to cut some holes into the drywall. So once you're cutting holes in the drywall, you might as well remove the popcorn, add the pot lights, flatten it all out, and your ceilings will look great and your room will be bright. Okay, so we've applied a nice thin skim coat to the entire ceiling. It's looking really nice and really smooth. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a lot of skill to make sure you have the finesse to make sure it's nice and smooth, but Andre's done a fantastic job. We're gonna demonstrate today two ways that you can do it. We're gonna show you the hard way, which is putting some water on the ceiling and scraping it off. That is a pretty messy job. The easier way is to use a Festool sander that has a vacuum attached to it, which is a great way to do it, but if you don't have one, the other way works great too. So one really important thing to look at if you're gonna try to remove a popcorn ceiling is you have to know whether it's been painted or not before you can do it. If it has been painted, you actually can't remove the popcorn. What you'd have to do is just knock it down as much as you can and then skim coat the entire ceiling. So if it's already been painted, this process won't work. But if it hasn't been painted, then it's really easy to take off. So how you can find out whether it's been painted before is you just simply run your hands across the stucco and you'll be able to tell if it comes off really easily, it's never been painted. If it doesn't come off at all, it's been sealed in and you're gonna have to have a different process. So let's check it out. You can see there that it's falling off really easily. So this is gonna work nicely. If that doesn't come off like that, it's not gonna work. If you don't have a Festool vacuum sander, the one way you can do it is to spray the ceiling down with water. The more water you use, the better. You wanna get it really saturated. Wait a few minutes for it to soak in, and then you can just take a knife and scrape the ceiling off. It's a great way to do it. It's effective. The only downside is it creates quite a mess. So we have done a small patch. You can see here, it is very effective. It's nice and smooth. It's come off quickly. And the downside is the mess that it's created. It's gonna make twice the work to try to clean that up. So the Festool is definitely an option that's much quicker, efficient, and cleaner. So what we've got here is called a Festool drywall vacuum. What's great about this vacuum is it's a sander on it, but it vacuums up and pulls all the dust in at the same time. This is quite an expensive machine, but you pay for what you get. Festool is the best brand for this type of machine. We rented this machine from Mount Nemo Sales and Service, which is a great place to get any rentals you need. So we're just getting the Festool set up and ready to go. The first thing you want to think about is what grit sandpaper you want to use. The higher the grit, the smoother the finish. We're going to use a 36 grit sandpaper on this, but the reason we're using 36 grit is because we've got a professional guy named Andre doing the work for us. He's done tons of this work, so he's very skilled in using the Festool. So he's able to use a lower grit and be really quick and efficient with it. If this is your first time using a Festool, I would recommend you start with more like 80 to 100 grit. That way it will take a little longer, but you'll get a better result. If you use a grit that's too low and you press too hard, you might get waviness or even potentially put a hole in the drywall. So if you're just getting started, start with a higher grit, and as you get better, you can go down to a lower grit and get down to 36 like our pro Andre. So using the Festool can be quite tricky. You do want to use sandpaper that is a lower grit. But if you use a lower grit sandpaper, you can really accidentally wreck the drywall. So for purposes of showing you how to do that, we're gonna get Andre to make a little mistake and push a little bit too hard so you can see how easily that can be done. And then we're gonna show you how to fix it. So we just had Andre demonstrate what not to do when you're doing the ceiling. So you can see here, he got right down to the bare drywall, and you really don't want to do that because that's going to make a lot of work. He's going to have to do a ton of skimming to make this drywall look good. So you can see the areas where it's nice and white and flat. That's what you want the outcome to be. Getting down to this is going to make a lot of work. Although the Festool is an amazing tool, it can't get into all the cracks and it can't get right up against the walls. So in areas that you can see up here like that, we're gonna have to just use a scraper. We're just gonna get as much off of it with the scraper as we can, because obviously the Festool has its limitations to the small spots that it can get into. We've done one pass with the 36 grit sandpaper, and so it's a little bit rough now. So we're gonna use a 100 grit sandpaper to go over it one more time for a second pass. That'll smooth it out nicely so that when we do the primer and the skim coat, it's just getting a little smoother and smoother every time. If your home is built before 1980, you do want to check to make sure there's no asbestos in your ceilings. And so how you can do that is you can get an asbestos test. And if you do find asbestos, you cannot disturb the asbestos. You'd have to call a professional to get an abatement done on your ceiling. This house was built in the 80s and we tested it. There's no asbestos, so we're good to go. Okay, so we've removed all the popcorn ceiling. We demonstrated two ways to do that. One was just wetting it and using a knife to take it off. It's really messy. The other way is using a Festool sander. We went across all the areas with 36 grit sandpaper. We went for a second pass with 100 grit sandpaper. Now that we've done all that, we're gonna get to priming the ceiling to fill in some of those gaps and skim coating the entire ceiling. If you like what you learned today, you can subscribe to Absolute Home Services. You can click the link below and you can give us a call for a free quote if you don't want to do this yourself.